Good Erev Shabbos, everyone. The end of another very strange week, no doubt. I hope you've all been coping well. But this situation is definitely continuing, it's intensifying, and it's important for us at the same time that we try to give ourselves and others chizuk, the realization that the Ribbono Shel Olam is in charge because very clearly nobody else is, and that he has a plan, and that we need, of course, as ever, to strengthen ourselves with our midas, our Yerei Shamayim, our tefillah, our Torah, our ben adam l'chaveiroi, especially is being tested in new and wonderful ways. At the same time, we need to remind ourselves of how we are meant to behave in these situations. I had a rather unusual shaila this week, which perhaps highlights where we are at the moment, and it connects very almost creepily to a medrash in this week's parasha. The question was somebody whose parents very much want them to go and be with them for Pesach. The parents, however, are definitely more elderly and fall into a very clear risk group. The parents are not convinced that there is any danger, and for young people, a young family to go, they weren't sure what should they do. This is dinei nefashos. Kibud av va'em on the one hand versus, is this a risk that is appropriate? In the event, and of course every case is different and factors have to be considered by somebody with medical advice, with halachic knowledge and background and context, and taking all of that as read, I paskin actually they should not go. They should very nicely, as sensitively as they can, tell their parents that because they love them, they're unable to be with them for Yom Tov. And this just typifies the sort of thing that is going on. But I was reminded of an incredible medrash in this week's parasha, the beginning of this week's parasha. Vayikra el Moshe. Moshe Rabbeinu is called by the Ribbono Shel Olam. Says the medrash, Mikan Omru, from here we see Kol Talmud Chacham she'ein bo das, nevela toiva himenu. A Talmud Chacham that does not have this quality called da'as is worse than a dead, rotting corpse of an animal. Nevela. Very strong words. Teid alachosh Cain, says the Medrash, I'll prove it. Tzeu lemad mi Moshe avi hachachma avi hanaviyim. We can see this from Moshe Rabbeinu, the father of Chochmah, the father of the Nevi'im. Shehoitzi Yisrael mi Mitzrayim. He took us out of Egypt. V'al yodoi nasu kama nisim b'Mitzrayim. And he was the agent of nisim v'niflois. V'noiroi sal yamsuf. V'olo lishmei moroim. He has the ability to go up and be in Shamayim for 40 days without eating, without drinking. More angel than man. Sichli nivdal, as the Maral would say. V'hoirid Torah min ha-Shamayim, and he brings Torah down, he and only he. V'nis asek b'meleches ha-Mishkan, he has been busy organizing and building this wonderful Mishkan which will house, so to speak, the Shechina, which will give us kapara for the Egel. It's his project. He's done it all. V'loi nichnas lifnai v'lifnim. But he doesn't go in, he doesn't step inside. Ad shekoraloi, until Vayikra el Moshe, until Hashem calls him. Because had Moshe Rabbeinu, Avi HaChochma, Avi HaNeviim, who was Olol HaMorim, and brought down the Torah, and was commanded, and had built this amazing project called the Mishkan, had he stepped over that threshold of the Mishkan without being called, he would have had no da'as, and a nevela would have been toiva heimenu. A nevela, a dead animal, would have been considered to be better than him. Need I say more? Da'as, derech eretz, is the way that Rabbi Yerucham explains this medrash, is not going where you are not invited. Kal v'chomer, all the more so. To go where you are not invited, to go where on the basis of government and rabbinic guidelines that we have to follow, that one should not go, anybody who does not follow the social distancing guidelines, not only they are not a Talmud Chacham, they have no das, they have no derech eretz. And unfortunately, this still sometimes needs to be said. When we look around and see what's happening, I personally know people that have died from this, not very old. We need to take this very seriously. Without being alarmist, we have bitachon on the one hand, the Rabbeinu Shalom is running the show, and he decides who gets ill and who doesn't, but we absolutely 100% have to totally and strictly and be machmir in following all of the guidelines. Not having guests on Yom Tov, and even turning round to a parent and saying, I love you dearly, and that's why I can't be there, because if I would be there I would have no das, and I could be putting you in danger. Difficult words to hear, difficult words to say. But this is Torah, this is Derech Eretz. V'nishmartem od lenafshei seichem. Let's try and have an amazing Shabbos together with our loved ones, with our families, those that we're with, and stay safe and daven and learn and sing and turn to the Rabbeinu Shalom b'zchus everything that we are doing in this new Chodesh of Nisan, of Nisim, of Geula, where we can achieve the extraordinary. If we follow the rules, then anything is possible. We can have a Seder of Nisim, and we hope and we daven in Yirtzeh Hashem that the Rabbeinu Shalom in this Zechus will give everybody that needs a Refuah Shalema, and we will not in any way Chas v'Shalom be complicit in bringing the Machala to anybody else, and we will v'nizkechu lanu to be in Yerushalayim HaKodesh and still bring up the Korban Pesach with Mashiach Tzidkenu. Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos.